A tiny swamp became the richest place on earth, and invented modern capitalism in the process. The Dutch Republic, 17th century. Population 2 million. Smaller than London. Built on land that didn't exist, and they dominated global trade. Controlled the world's money supply. Created financial instruments we still use today. Stock markets. Central banks. Corporations. Financial bubbles. Short selling. Derivatives. Options trading. Insurance. All invented by the Dutch. They weren't the strongest military power, weren't the biggest empire. But they understood something nobody else did. Money is the ultimate weapon. This is the story of how Dutch merchants created the financial system that runs the world today. How a nation of traders became richer than empires. And how their innovations changed capitalism forever. Stay with me. Because what the Dutch invented 400 years ago controls your 401k, your mortgage, your stock portfolio, and your retirement. Every financial tool, every market mechanism, every monetary innovation. The Dutch did it first. Let's start with why the Dutch had to innovate. Because their situation was impossible. 1600s, the Dutch Republic forms. It's not really a country. It's 7 provinces barely cooperating. United Netherlands. And it's built on land, reclaimed from the sea. Literally pumping water out and building on swampland. They have no natural resources. No gold, no silver, no forests. No farmland worth mentioning. They're surrounded by powerful enemies. Spain, who they just rebelled against. France, England, all bigger, all stronger, all want to crush them. So the Dutch can't win through military power, can't compete through natural resources, must survive through trade and innovation. And they do something revolutionary. They invent financial capitalism. Innovation 1. The corporation. Dutch merchants have a problem. Trading with Asia is incredibly profitable, but also incredibly expensive and risky. One ship costs 100,000 guilders. Voyage takes 2 to 3 years. 50% chance ship doesn't return. No single merchant can afford the risk. Traditional partnerships don't work because voyages take too long. Solution: Dutch East India Company (VOC). The world's first true corporation. Here's what's revolutionary. Permanent capital. Unlike previous partnerships that dissolved after each voyage, VOC is permanent. Capital stays in company indefinitely. Tradable shares. You can buy and sell ownership. Don't have to wait for voyage to end. Want your money back? Sell shares to someone else. Limited liability. If company fails, shareholders only lose their investment. Can't lose personal property. Professional management. Shareholders don't run operations. Hired professionals do. Separation of ownership and management. This is the modern corporation. Every company today operates on this model. Apple, Tesla, Amazon, all using VOC's structure, and it worked spectacularly. VOC became the most valuable company in history, worth $7.9 trillion in today's money. Innovation 2. The stock exchange with tradable shares. You need a place to trade them. Amsterdam Stock Exchange opens. World's first official stock market. It's not like previous informal trading. This is organized, regulated, transparent, daily trading, published prices, standard contracts, recorded transactions, and it creates something unprecedented. Liquid capital. Your wealth is no longer locked in land or gold. It's in shares you can sell instantly. This unlocks enormous economic power. Money flows to most profitable ventures. Capital allocation becomes efficient. Innovation 3. Short selling. Dutch traders invent short selling within years of exchange opening. How? Borrow shares, sell them. Wait for price to drop, buy back cheaper, return borrowed shares, keep the profit. You're betting on failure, making money from decline. This seems destructive, but it serves crucial function. Price discovery. Shorts expose overvalued companies, create market efficiency. Modern markets couldn't function without short selling. Dutch invented it in 1609. Innovation 4. Options trading 1630s. Tulip mania. First financial bubble. We'll get to that. But during tulip mania, Dutch invent options contracts. Call options, right to buy at set price. Put options, right to sell at set price. These are derivative contracts, value derived from underlying asset tulips, then later stocks. Today, options market is massive, trillions in daily volume. All started in Amsterdam with tulips. By 1650, Dutch have invented the basic architecture of modern finance. Corporations, stock exchanges, short selling, options. But their most important innovation is still coming. Innovation 5. Central Banking Bank of Amsterdam Wisselbank is created. World's first central bank. It starts as practical solution. Amsterdam has hundreds of currencies circulating: Spanish reals, Portuguese escudos, German thalers, all different weights and purities. This makes trade chaotic. Every transaction requires money changes, costs and confusion everywhere. Bank of Amsterdam's solution: standardized deposits. Deposit your various coins. Bank credits you in bank guilders, standard unit, guaranteed weight and purity. These bank guilders become the reserve currency of Europe, more trusted than gold, because Bank of Amsterdam guarantees them. But here's the innovation: fractional reserve banking. Bank discovers depositors don't all withdraw simultaneously, so bank can lend out portion of deposits. Say bank has 1 million guilders deposited, lends out 600,000, keeps 400,000 in reserve. This creates 600,000 guilders that didn't exist before. Money from nothing. Credit creation. This is how all modern banking works. Your bank doesn't keep all your deposits. They lend most of it out. The Dutch invented this. 1609. 400 years before the Fed. Innovation 6. Government bonds as permanent debt. Dutch government needs money for war with Spain. Constant war. Never-ending costs. Traditional solution: short-term loans. Repay quickly. High interest rates because of risk. Dutch innovation: perpetual bonds. Government sells bonds that never mature. They pay interest forever, but never repay principal. Why would anyone buy this? Because the interest rate is guaranteed, and you can sell the bond anytime on secondary market. These bonds trade on Amsterdam Exchange. Liquid, trustworthy. People treat them like money. This allows Dutch government to borrow enormous amounts at low rates, funding war without bankruptcy. England copies this, creates consols, consolidated annuities, perpetual bonds funding British Empire. Every modern government bonds market descends from Dutch innovation. Innovation 7. Marine insurance. Dutch are trading globally. Ships sinking, cargo lost, pirates, storms. Risk is enormous. One lost ship bankrupts merchant. Solution: insurance market. Merchants pool risk. Everyone pays premium. When ship sinks, claim pays from pool. But Dutch take it further. Secondary insurance market. You can buy and sell insurance contracts. Trade risk itself. Underwriters specialize in assessing risk, pricing insurance correctly, creating entire industry. Lloyd's of London formed 1686. Copies Dutch insurance model. All modern insurance descends from Dutch innovation. Innovation 8. Financial journalism to trade stocks. You need information. Dutch invent financial press. Weekly price lists, market reports, company news, trade data. First financial newspapers appear in Amsterdam. Investors can make informed decisions. This creates market transparency. Information flows freely. Prices become efficient. The Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg, CNBC, all descended from Dutch financial journalism. By 1650, Dutch have created entire financial ecosystem. Every piece of modern finance, all invented in one city over 50 years. But there's one more innovation, and it's a warning. Innovation 9. The financial bubble, 1636 to 1637. Tulip mania. World's first recorded speculative bubble. Tulips arrive in Netherlands from Turkey. Become fashionable. Wealthy people want them for gardens. Rare tulip bulbs start selling for high prices. Some bulbs worth months of wages. Then speculation begins. People buy tulips, not for gardens, but for resale. Prices rise. More people see profits. Jump in. Prices rise more. By 1637, single tulip bulb sells for 12 acres of land, or complete house in Amsterdam, or 10 years of skilled craftsmen's wages. This is insanity. A flower bulb can't be worth a house. But speculation doesn't care about fundamentals. Then someone tries to sell. Can't find buyer at expected price. Panic starts. Within weeks, tulip prices collapse 95%. Fortunes evaporate. People who borrowed to buy tulips are ruined. This is the pattern of every bubble since. New asset class, tulips, stocks, real estate, crypto. Early adopters profit, masses pile in, prices disconnect from reality. Summer sells, panic and collapse. South Sea bubble 1720. Mississippi bubble 17191720. Dot-com bubble 2000. Housing bubble 2008. Crypto bubbles 2017, 2021. Same pattern. First documented in Amsterdam. Tulip mania. Dutch didn't just invent financial tools. They invented financial disasters too. The warning: financial innovation creates power, but also instability. Corporations create wealth, but also monopolies and exploitation, VOC. Committed atrocities. Stock markets create liquidity, but also speculation and crashes. Derivatives create hedging tools, but also systemic risk. Central banking creates stability, but also moral hazard and money printing. Every Dutch innovation has a dark side. We're still dealing with these contradictions today. So what happened to the Dutch? Why didn't they rule the world? By 1650, Dutch Republic is the richest place on earth per capita. Amsterdam is financial center of world. VOC dominates global trade. But by 1750, they're in decline. By 1800, they're a second-rate power. What went wrong? Problem 1. Military weakness. Financial power doesn't equal military power. Dutch stayed rich, but couldn't defend themselves. England and France had larger populations, bigger armies, more resources. As European wars escalated, Dutch couldn't compete militarily. Lost colonies, lost trade routes. Problem 2. Success bred complacency. Dutch became bankers instead of traders. Safer, less risky, but less dynamic. They financed everyone else's enterprises instead of creating their own. Made interest, but lost innovation edge. Problem 3. Size matters. 2 million people can't dominate world forever. England had 8 million. France had 20 million. Even perfect financial system can't overcome population disadvantage long term. The legacy: Dutch lost their empire, but their financial innovations survived and spread. England copied VOC model, created East India Company, built British Empire on Dutch financial foundations. United States copied Bank of Amsterdam, created Federal Reserve on same principles. Every stock exchange models Amsterdam. Every corporation uses VOC structure. Every government uses Dutch bond innovations. The Dutch invented modern capitalism, then everyone else used their innovations to surpass them. The irony: the tools Dutch created to fight bigger empires were copied by bigger empires and used to defeat the Dutch. Their innovations were too powerful, too useful, too easily copied. They lost the empire, but won the argument. Everyone adopted their system. Capitalism became Dutch capitalism. Today, every financial market operates on Dutch innovations from 1600 to 1650. Stock markets: Amsterdam Stock Exchange model, tradable shares, daily pricing, transparent transactions. Corporations: VOC structure, permanent capital, limited liability, tradable ownership, professional management. Central banks: Bank of Amsterdam model, fractional reserves, credit creation, government backing, government bonds, Dutch perpetual bonds. Secondary markets: low interest rates through liquidity, insurance, Dutch risk pooling, specialized underwriters, tradable insurance contracts, derivatives, options invented during tulip mania, now massive global markets. Short selling: Dutch innovation for price discovery, controversial but essential. Financial media: Dutch price lists and market reports, now Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal. Financial bubbles: tulip mania pattern, repeated in every subsequent bubble. 50 years of Dutch innovation created the financial architecture that still runs the world. But here's what's important: the Dutch succeeded because they had to. Necessity drove innovation. Small country, no resources, surrounded by enemies, had to win through finance or die. Modern financial centers: New York, London, Singapore, don't have this urgency. They're successful and comfortable. Where will the next financial revolution come from? Probably where necessity is greatest. Maybe crypto, desperate for government-proof money. Maybe developing world, desperate for banking access. Maybe somewhere unexpected. History shows financial innovation comes from edges, not centers. From desperate traders, not comfortable bankers. The Dutch weren't the strongest or biggest, but they were the most desperate and most creative. That's why they won. So here's what Dutch capitalism really means. They invented the financial world we live in. Every stock you own, every bond in your retirement account, every option contract, every insurance policy, every central bank action, every corporate structure, all invented by Dutch merchants in Amsterdam between 1600 to 1650. 50 years, one city, complete transformation of how money works. They proved finance is more powerful than armies. That money is the ultimate weapon. That small nation with superior financial system can defeat larger nations with inferior systems. And they proved something darker. Financial innovation creates both prosperity and disaster. Corporations and bubbles, banks and crashes, derivatives and systemic risk. We inherited both their genius and their problems. 400 years later, we're still using their tools and still dealing with their contradictions. What do you think? Did the Dutch create the best financial system possible? Or did they unleash forces we can't control? Drop your thoughts in comments. Because right now, you're living in the world the Dutch created, using financial instruments they invented, operating in markets they designed. Stock market crash, Dutch invented that. Financial bubble, Dutch pioneered it. Central bank printing money, Dutch innovation. Corporation exploiting workers, Vok wrote the playbook. Every benefit and every problem of modern capitalism traces to Dutch innovations of 1600 to 1650. They changed finance forever, for better and worse. And we're still living with the consequences. The next time you check your stock portfolio, trade options, or complain about central bank policy, remember, you're using tools invented by Dutch merchants in the 1600s. Dutch capitalism didn't just change finance, it is finance. Everything else is just variations on their theme. Welcome to the Dutch financial revolution. It never ended. You're living in it.